Welcome back to another video with the Unspecialist. This time around, we're going to be talking about OnlyFans again. Now, in my last video, we discussed OnlyFans' proposed plan to remove adult content, possible reasons why they would have made that move in the first place, and the future implications for such a move. Interestingly enough, the plan for OnlyFans clearly was to remove or limit adult content up until their announcement on Wednesday, August 25th, that they would be scrapping that plan altogether. This came right on the heels of an announcement that by October 1st, they would be banning sexually explicit content. The article from Yahoo News reads that the content subscription service OnlyFans announced Wednesday that it was dropping its plan to ban sexually explicit content on its platform. The reversal comes a week after the London-based company announced proposed changes, including a ban on pornography, to quote-unquote evolve its content guidelines. "Thank you to everyone for making your voices heard," the platform tweeted Wednesday morning. "We have secured assurances necessary to support our diverse creator community and have suspended the planned October 1 policy change. OnlyFans stands for inclusion, and we will continue to provide a home for all creators." Initially, OnlyFans explained its decision to ban sexually explicit content by noting that, because of the proliferation of sexual content on the platform, banks had refused to do business with the company, and that it was struggling to find outside investors. Despite those issues, however, OnlyFans, which has more than 120 million subscribers, was still able to generate a large positive cash flow and also paid out more than $300 million a month to its content creators. The proposed October 1st, 2021 changes are no longer required due to banking partners' assurances that OnlyFans can support all genres of creators, the company said in a statement to Yahoo News. Adult content creators on the site reacted with cautious optimism to the news that they will not be banned from the platform. One self-proclaimed sex expert and model, Tayomi Morgan, says OnlyFans was a quote-unquote saving grace for her in early 2019, at a time when her life was in complete disarray. In short, the announcement meant that not safe for work content would be quarantined to the website and kept away from OnlyFans TV, the company's new app, which would have been pushed on platforms that don't allow adult content. Unsurprisingly, the announcement was met with a tidal wave of backlash, especially from the online sex work community, which can reasonably claim that the website or the company was built on their backs, off of their labor, and the content that essentially made the site popular in the first place. Now, I know that they're trying to make it sound as if the current decision is something to do with a pro-social justice stance, diversity, inclusion, or them caring about the creators on their platform, but as I said in my last video, the company really and truly should look to change their name to Only Profit, as this particular decision was clearly influenced by one thing, and that's profit. Their previous statements implied that the sexually explicit content was harming their public image and needed to be removed in order to please investors, which they were sourcing to go more mainstream, and that essentially showed that the company is not afraid to throw their content creators under the bus for a few bucks. Well, in this case, a few $100 million. I did say in my previous video that OnlyFans would be leaving a whole lot of money on the table with the move, and I guess that they thought that it would be ill-advised at this time to kill their golden goose, especially given the fact that there's lots of other platforms waiting like piranhas to snap up the market share that they would have essentially just given up. It's yet to be seen whether or not content creators would leave the site for friendlier pastures in light of the recent announcement, but I think it's important to note that they've put themselves in a pretty interesting position. OnlyFans, by making the announcement that they're doing this because they've heard the voices of the creators and they care deeply about inclusion and all of that, now they've essentially got to toe the woke line and continue to please their content creators, especially those in the adult content section, or face greater outrage in future if they're to pull another move like this one. I know that the saying is once you go woke, you go broke, but for OnlyFans, now that they've gone woke, they simply just have to stand in it and they're gonna continue to rake in those dollars like cranberries in a bog. Before I get into the implications of OnlyFans policy reversal, I need to take some time to point out or acknowledge the many men that thought that this announcement by OnlyFans would have somehow started the thought apocalypse, kinda like it was in my last video, and that somehow all these adult content creators would be out of work or out of a means of income and then suddenly have to go back to work at McDonald's, as if the press release would suddenly revert into sexual dynamics back to the 1950s, and that women would have to come back to the table and negotiate, and a whole lot of madness which made no sense, because there's lots of other platforms that the content creators could have simply moved to or migrated the content or whatever they had to do to stay in operation. Besides, there was still a market for the content in the first place, and nothing really has changed except the fact that they wouldn't have a place at OnlyFans anymore. In the human world, once a habit, system, or cultural norm takes hold, yeah, generally speaking, it's not going anywhere anytime soon. And this conventional wisdom was most certainly true for the OnlyFans porn model, even if OnlyFans decided that it didn't have a home at OnlyFans anymore. So for the men and cultural observers who were brimming with hope after hearing OnlyFans' announcement that it would have banned adult content, I think it's important to note that in matters like this, pussy always wins in the end.
All that for a drop of blood.
As for the content creators, it's back to business as usual, albeit a bit more wary because of OnlyFans' recent moves or decisions exposing their lack of job security on the platform. That could mean them moving elsewhere, but we'll have to wait and see how that plays out. For the time being, for OnlyFans, I see them as a platform taking moves to appease their content creators, especially in the adult content segment, because they're going to want to keep the money flowing while they figure out a way to maximize profit and continue their move into the light and into more mainstream content. What do you think about OnlyFans' decision to reverse the ban? What about their current direction? What does all this mean for Generation Z? Let me know down in the comments. Be sure to like and subscribe if you want to see more content in the future. This is the Unspecialist saying, winter is coming for these online harlots.
Got him! Got him! Oh! Whoa! Whoa!